Okay, this episode is really different, really unique, something we've never done before, nothing even close to this before. So let's get into it. Welcome to the Mutually Amazing Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Domitrz with the Center for Respect. And this show is all about building mutually amazing relationships in work, love, and life in all facets of how we live. Let's get started. If you got a chance to listen to episode 96, that was Dr. Jamie Hope, the episode right before this one, you know that she talked about physical distancing, social connecting, and that the phrase social distancing was really not accurate at all because we want to use social media to connect with each other. We need to physically distance ourselves. And this is during the coronavirus time, during the COVID-19 time. And that's why this language was so important, to socially connect via Zoom, via Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever ways you can, while physically being disconnected. All right, and this was a really important concept. She also talked about the importance of nature, of health, being an important factor right now that we take care of our health. And if at all possible, she really recommended getting out in nature. Of course, that means if possible. Not everybody might have that available to them, but if possible, get out there, do it safely, but get out into nature to provide that serenity and that calmness that nature can bring to each of us. I am fortunate in that I live near water, and I find water to be really peaceful, but not only water, what water draws. What do I mean by what water draws? I mean birds and of all different kinds, whether it's ducks or geese or herons, and the different animals and the wildlife, whether it's the marsh or the major part of a river or a lake, what it draws in and the sounds those wildlife creatures create is just so beautiful and so cool. Here's what we're doing for this week's episode. Well, let me pause for one moment to explain why we're doing this for this week's episode. Not everybody has that access to nature. We understand that. Some people are not in situations where they can even leave their home right now. And we really, really want to send our support and love and just tons of energy of health and recovery to anybody who is actually experiencing the symptoms or has COVID-19. We want to make sure that you know we are sending our love and our support to you. And for anybody who's in isolation, quarantine, that cannot get out, that are not able to do that, that's what this episode is for. Maybe you're in a place where it's hard to even get to nature, where you're not in quarantine, but you just can't get to nature. That's what this episode is for. We want to bring nature to you. And so I am going to share with you 20 minutes of audio from my kayak. I'm not going to be talking during this audio. It was my phone on video recording. So if you're watching this on the YouTube version, which you can always do on our show, you simply look up mutuallyamazingpodcast.com, and you can go there and you'll see both the YouTube video there and the audio video there. You can choose which one. If you're watching the YouTube footage, you're going to see the actual footage from my kayak. Otherwise, you're going to hear that footage. So I'm about to play for you 20 minutes of wildlife. And because this audio is not edited, you may even notice the sounds of vehicles in the distance. So don't be surprised if you hear that sort of rumbling in the background, sort of in the background of the sounds of all the birds and ducks. You may hear that at times. And I have to share a little something with you that happens during these 20 minutes. During that 20 minutes, meditate. That's why you're not going to hear me at all. This is something I do to start my day that I think is really important. And I have found it to be pivotally important during these times of isolation, where we're limited from living maybe the way we lived as freely before. That having meditation to free the mind, to provide a place of quiet, really can make a huge difference. So I go out on my kayak. There's no one around, so we have the physical distancing. It's safe. We're following all the guidelines. And I just go quiet for 20 minutes and let silence try to take over. And of course, tons of thoughts come into your mind, but you let them go by, and then you try to create that quiet, and the new one comes in, you go to that quiet, but you have the birds singing. And here's what I almost did here. During this, some Canadian geese flew into the water near me. Oh, you're going to hear it because they're not quiet. And I thought, should I share a different 20 minutes that's just all the birds singing quietly? And then I realized that's not wildlife. I'm not really taking you to nature if I'm editing nature out, so you just have this pure serenity of these quiet birds singing when the louder geese are nearby. That's more reality. So here it is, 20 minutes of silence from me, not from nature. And there it was, 20 minutes of nature. Thanks for joining me. Thank you for joining us in this episode of The Respect Podcast, exploring work, love, and life. And this episode, like every episode, is brought to you by our organization, the Center for Respect, which you can find at centerforrespect.com. And of course, you can find me, your host, Mike Domitrz, at mikespeaks.com. Thank you so much for joining us. We'd love to hear your questions, your thoughts, and your ideas. And the best place to leave those with us is on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Mutually Amazing Podcast. Of course, you can always contact us on our website at mutuallyamazingpodcast.com. Remember to subscribe to this show so you automatically get it every week. And if you could, take one moment to leave a review. That really helps other people find the show, which we are greatly appreciative of. So thank you so much for joining us. May you make today and every day a life full of mutually amazing relationships.